What's up, everybody? Rattlehead 5022 here, the Stuttering Reviewer, and today I'm coming at you to continue the path of the Megadeth's discography, and the album we're talking about today is probably the best metal record to come out in a very long time. And I say that because it is not any better, in my opinion, than A Not an Abominations. But I'm gonna critique this album only because when you make an album this heavy and don't thrash it out, because this album you can't hold it up to Rust in Peace. You can hold it up there, but it's still not Rust in Peace. But it's pretty fucking close. If there was a second, this is it. But again, it's hard rock. All right, they do really well on that sound, but they went. Some of it was thrash, some of it was really close, but it's not a thrash album to me, and that's the only thing I have against it, and that's so minuscule it doesn't even matter, because this album will hit you in the face 44 minutes entirety, will knock you down and keep you wanting more. You know, it's their 12th album. It was released September 9th, 2009. It's 44 minutes long. They have a song 44 minutes, has nothing to do with it. It's just ironic that it is that long. The producer on this album was Dave Mustaine and Andy Sneap, the great Andy Sneap. And I hold Andy Sneap in such high esteem because is it the mixing job he does, or is Megadeth really this good and they hold back on some records? Because it makes you wonder, man, because Dave, we all know, is phenomenal, period. You know, it's one of those things, man. The lineup on this album was Dave Mustaine, Chris Broderick, the great Chris Broderick. I'm going to start putting that in front of it, because if there was ever somebody that was as good as Marty Friedman, it's this guy right here. And people, you ain't seen a third of what this guy can do. He's amazing. You know, look him up, man. Watch his separate videos from Megadeth. He's fucking amazing. Sean Drover on drums, and Lomenzo. And this is, alright, you know, Lomenzo was on this album on bass for a little while. He left. David Ellefson come back to tour with this record. And I'm glad they worked shit out, man, because he's the co-founder of Megadeth. And it just wouldn't seem right to end things without him. And this is one of those records where the name fooled you. Talking about Endgame, I thought it was it. This is it, man. This has got to be their last record. And now they're on such a... Up here, they're back where they want to be, and there's no end in sight. You know, you watch this single guy, this one guy, so determined to make music for his fans, love music so much, that you see him peak. And most bands, man, when they peak, it's over. Let's take, and I love Metallica, for instance. Let's just take them for instance. They make really good records up until a certain point. They make millions of dollars. Their head gets so big, they say, fuck the guy that replaced Cliff Burton. You know, let's fuck him. Let's not let him make a record on his own, because that'll stain the Metallica name. I'm not sure why they thought that. And they just don't care no more. You can just tell, man. They put out records to keep their wallets fat, period. Because people's going to buy it because it's Metallica. And that's the only thing I have against Metallica. They are. If you're a Megadeth fanboy, and I love Megadeth, and you dog Metallica out, you need to think about what you're saying before you say it. And I'm not getting on anybody. I'm just saying, and I do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not extract from this statement at all. I need to practice what I preach. But I don't do it all the time like I see a lot of folks do. You cannot dog out Metallica but love Megadeth because they're number two. I know they're the underdog, shit like that, and you're liking your favorite band. You like them better than Metallica. I favor Megadeth more than Metallica, but I'm still a Metallica fan. I just don't like what they've done in the past 15 years. Period. It's all bullshit. But this guy came from Metallica. There is other bands before Metallica in the thrash scene. Overkill, Exodus, we know this. But there is only the number one band of all time was Metallica. Thrash metal band, fathers of American thrash. You can say, well, there's other bands come out before them. I get that, but they didn't have the fucking crowd these guys have. They didn't sell the records. they don't sell out the shows like these guys do, and that's the way it is. And it's shitty, but that's the way it is. So when I say that, I'm not trying to offend nobody. I'm just saying that Megadeth fans need to get over the fact that Dave Mustaine left Metallica, or was kicked out of Metallica. It happened. And thank God it did, because we wouldn't have this great band. Who knows? Dave Mustaine could have sold out with, like the rest of them, been making bullshit. You never know. And we'll never know. And thank God we won't. Because since I was a kid till now, man, these guys have put out music that I can enjoy. I really respect them. Every time they come out with a CD, I thought, this is the end. This is it. This has got to be it. And they proved me wrong every time. Thank God they did. You know what I mean? Because this is my favorite band of all time, guys, we're talking about. So, that being said, this record right here, when it came out and I heard it, and it wasn't thrash, I thought, but it's still heavy. It was heavier. It's just a heavier Countdown version is what it is to me. It's still great. I think there's more songs, likable songs in United Abominations, but you can't take anything away from this record because it's that good. And let's get to it, guys. When you look at the cover on this, and I just recently figured this out because somebody said it somewhere, it's a bunch of flies connected, and then you've got some dudes with the fucking shit on their head, fucking walking in a line, like, you know, it's, you know, and you turn it around, you got Dave Mustaine holding up his flying V, you know, with his face, gnarly face, and you put the CD in, and the CD cover and everything, immediately you forget about it because it's that good. People, this was Megadeth's 10th album out of 12 to debut in the top 10. Their third, actually, to break the top 10. And, or maybe it's their fourth. It's just amazing. Grammy nominated. I mean, just a monster record, period. It was recorded at Vic's Garage at Roadrunner Records. And this album was overlooked in a lot of ways. Number one, Roadrunner don't put a whole lot of money in advertisement. Number two, when they were promoting this record, a lot of folks forget, he even said it in concert, a lot of folks forget we have a new record out because they were doing the 20th anniversary Rust in Peace, which I attended. Really fucking kick ass. And you got to give kudos to Dave Mustaine, because that show I was at in Louisville, Kentucky, you didn't hear about it hardly at all. Like, I bought tickets a month in advance. I didn't hear anything else about it. I went there was only like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people there tops. Dave Mustaine comes out and says, look, our manager said to pull this show. I said, fuck them, you're welcome, and started playing. You know, and a lot of bands, this is what separates the greats from the forgettables. Because Axl Rose would have pulled that show. He'd been like, fuck you. You know, I don't play for that less of people. You know what I mean? So, that's, again, separates your really great bands that love the music and love the fans, whether it be one or a million, and you know, you got to respect them, man, period. And I know I'm kissing their ass, but it's the truth. Everything I'm saying or telling you is the truth, guys. Again, David Ellefson come back for this tour. I'm glad they worked shit out, man. It's fucking really cool. Let's get to the tracks, because got a Dialect of Chaos. And when I first heard that, I don't play guitar. I can read some tablature, but I cannot make it music. So I can play the chords one at a time, which doesn't matter because it don't make music. But when you look at the fucking tablature of this, I didn't even attempt to even try to play one fucking chord because it's so integral. This was a true Megadeth record that he come out and said, man, fuck you all. I'm going to show you all I'm fucking still the, you know, even though I'm second best in sales, second best, whatever, I'm still number one guitar player in the thrash circuit, and he fucking come out this album and proved it, guys. You know, Dialect of Chaos, you're thinking, when is this fucking gargantuan song, this instrumental end, and then it starts, it totally turns into the second tune, This Day We Fight, and you're like, oh my god, it just gets heavier, and you're like, wow. When that ends, 44 minutes is the next song we're talking about, and that is not the length of the album. It is talking about the 97 shootouts. But I skipped this song for many years, and I never gave it a chance because I thought, just didn't, you know, but I learned to appreciate it now, man. It's really good. If you never really gave it a chance, man, play it all the way through. It's a really good song. Listen to it 2 or 3 times before you judge it. Listen to the whole thing. It's really good. I really like it. Moving along, guys, 1320. And basically, it's the distance of a quarter mile. That's it, period. That's it. But it has a, so far so good, so what sound to it. One of the few one of the few sounds that goes back to old school. Again, one of the thrashier tunes on the record. Again, people can argue this is a thrash record. It's not to me. It's more hard rock, really super hard rock, to the point where it almost breaks thrash, but it doesn't. A lot of folks had a problem with his voice on this album. The music was cool with the voice. I actually loved it. I thought, Dave lowered voice actually sounds better, but I grew up listening to him, so his voice doesn't bother me like it does a lot. So moving along to Bite the Hand. I will say this about Bite the Hand. I love it. It's a good song. But when before this record came out, there was an asshole on YouTube that put a death metal song to this with a bunch of racist slurs. And whoever done that, you're a piece of shit, man. Because they ain't about that. There ain't nothing to that, man. That's bullshit. And you should be ashamed of yourself for doing that, because we're in the 21st fucking century. Kill all that bullshit. Moving along. Bodies. I like it. It has a countdown feel to it. It almost has a Symphony of Destruction riff to it. Almost. Not there, but almost. Just the guitar. Cut out the drums, the bass, everything else. Listen to the guitar. Almost got a countdown. Almost got a Symphony of Destruction feel to it. Moving along to Endgame. This song, I really like it because it switches up about 3 or 4 times. One of the most dynamic, diverse, heavy Megadeth songs they've ever made. They've never made one that really switches up this many times other than Holy Wars, The Punishment Due. And I really like it, man. Especially the end of it. It's something they've never done. It's weird, man. It almost sounds kind of like Miami Vice or something. It's weird, man, but it's Megadeth style. It's really good. Moving on to the hardest part of Letting Go. And here we get to the point of, this is one of the small critiques I was talking about. They move off a sound of constantly thrashing shit, heavy stuff. And the hardest part of Letting Go, I love how he sings it. I really like it, man. I really do. Then we go on to Seal with a Kiss, which turns into almost like an Iron Maiden-ish type sound, which not discrediting anything about Iron Maiden, because they're the founding fathers of thrash metal. But I'm just saying, it just goes off in totally different sound of the album. And a lot of folks will say it's a good thing. It's a refreshing sound. It really is. I love it. Not taking anything away from it. It's one of those things where you're making an album that's going to rival Rust in Peace. Make the whole record sound the same. That's all I got to say. Bad about it anyway. Head Crusher. Now, this is the heaviest song on the album, bar none. And if you've never heard it, wow. I'm sure you have. Oh my goodness. It's just amazing. If you have not seen it or heard it, look it up right now. The heaviest shit you'll hear in the past, anything that's come out in the past 20 years that makes sense. Really fucking good. I love it. Moving along to How the Story Ends. I like everything about that song, especially when they do it live. The headbanging, because you can headbang to it, man. You can mosh to it. It's really good. I love it. And then the last track and final track is The Right to Go Insane. It's got a cool video. I like it because they incorporate Dave Mustaine driving the tank of a crazy guy that really did steal a tank in the 90s and started running over shit, and the bottom line is they jumped on the fucking tank and killed his motherfucking ass. They had to, because he was fucking destroying everything in his path. Didn't care. People, this album is a monster. It's a fucking phenomenal record. Another fucking uprising, and that's where 13 kind of it flatlines, because Johnny K killed 13, period, guys. did a review on 13. I'm not going to redo it, but next is Super Collider. I am redoing that one for all the crybabies out there. I'm leaving that one on there just to piss a lot of people off. Rattlehead 50222, the Star Reviewer, out of here, guys. Follow me on Twitter at Rattlehead 50222. I'll follow everybody back, Tom Majors. Find me on Facebook at Metal Videos 365. Everybody have a fucking thrashing evening and rock on.